welcome to Big Sister. I hope you guys are enjoying your week. I hope it was a good week for each one of you. Today is Friday. I don't know what day it is for you guys. I don't know what day it will be when you listen to this. But for me, it's Friday. I have a few things that I need to get done. But I wanted to do this video really quickly before I head out. First of all, I want to say thank you to all of you who have been subscribers to my channel. Those of you who are new, I ask guys that you share my videos, hit that like button guys, because when you do that, of course, that will bring more people to my channel. Feel free to share my content on your platforms, and the content may help somebody. I also like you guys to leave comments, and when you leave your comments guys, just remember, keep it respectful. This is one community where I keep it safe. And what that simply means is freedom of speech. I am open to that. But profanity and insulting people, absolutely not. We have to learn to speak to one another without insulting and without attacking. So I want each and every one of you to know, and feel free to leave your comments and not be afraid that you're going to be attacked, because that's not going to happen. The way that we have this channel set up is that when you put your comments up, it looks like it's there, but it's not really there yet. So we go through and we just make sure that there's nobody who's attacking other comments, no one that's being rude or disrespectful. We're not seeing any F-bombs and all that stuff there, because when we see it, that is going to be rejected, okay? You can speak, but there's no reason to be rude. You can disagree with someone, and you can even disagree with me, but there's no reason to attack another comment or to be disrespectful. And disrespectful is not disagreement. Disrespectful is where you want to be insulting and trying to be, low blow comments and stuff like that, and being childish, and we don't do that here. So feel free guys to comment, and know that here on Big Sister, you've got a big sister. All right, so any hoots, let's get to the point. So my video today is something that I want parents to really listen to, and something that people may not even think about, but it is this: your child knows their siblings better than you do. Your children know each other better than you do. Your children know aside. Siblings know one another better than the parents. As parents, sometimes we may assume that we know everything about our children. Oh, my son is this way, my daughter's this way. You may assume that. But the truth of the matter is, their sibling, okay? Those who have siblings, they know the other side of that sibling. They know the flip side. They know them. Because brothers and sisters are normally, parents are the authority figures, and sisters and brothers are to some degree equal. Not exactly, because you have the oldest and all of that, but they don't have to put on that mask as much as, or they don't have to, the way that they are going to present themselves to their parents or to adults, to the teachers, they're not going to present themselves that way to their siblings. So their siblings normally see them. They see these sides to them that the parents don't see. It does not mean it's necessarily bad. It doesn't always mean that there's a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation where there is just this complete difference, while for some it is. Perhaps for some, as soon as mom and dad leaves, the sibling becomes a nightmare. There are some siblings who do things to their other siblings, to the younger sibling, that is pure evil, diabolical, and in some cases illegal. And this is what we hear later on about siblings talking about things that they suffered at the hands of their sister or brother or sisters or brothers. They can be abusive. They can torture their siblings. These are the extreme cases. And they threaten the child. They will threaten that other sibling. And mom and dad comes home and they have no idea because that sibling is afraid and know if I say anything, I'm going to have to deal with the consequences. Again, it may not be that dark. It may not be that serious, but siblings are always seeing this other side. Maybe the child presents to be studious to the parent, but the sibling knows that there's something else that they do on the side that mom and dad wouldn't like. Maybe there's a different way that they speak when they're talking to them than how they will speak to their parent. And the parent won't believe it because of the image that the sibling presents to the parent. And sometimes the siblings are just being themselves with each other. It's not a matter of someone is covering up for the other or someone is being harmful to the next or one sibling is trying to be harmful to the other. It has nothing to do with that. It's just that they are relaxed with one another and they can talk and they can laugh and joke and just really let their guards down with each other, and they know each other better than the parents do. But what happens when the parent is believing that they have this golden child, or they believe that they have the perfect son or daughter, and they may, sometimes in families, we have to be very careful because you will be looking at your child or your children and you have them categorized. This is the troublesome one. This is the sweet one. This one just minds their own business. They just have this idea of who they think that the children are. When in fact, it's not always the way it seems on the surface. And sometimes when, let's say, the sibling who they have deemed to be the troublemaker is trying to tell the parents something about, Angel Patty Cake over there, who the family said, oh, this is the sweetheart of the family. The parent doesn't listen because you're the troublemaker. And I know my sweet Angel Patty Cake would never do that. And of course, sweet Angel Patty Cake will stand there with their eyes fully dilated like, no, I wouldn't, Mommy. No, I wouldn't, Daddy. If that is going to make them get away with stuff. In the meantime, they're pinching their sibling from the back while they're smiling at the parent. And so, parents, we must be observant. Parents cannot just assume. And parents, we must remember that we were kids too. We have to remember, I hate saying kids, we were children too. And you have to remember those days you have to remember the fact that you saw the real deal with your siblings. When your parents are not home, or your mom's not home, your dad's not home, you guys were able to just be free with one another. You guys would do a lot of stuff together. I know I did with my brothers. I was the only girl. And man, we were doing stuff our parents wouldn't even think we were doing. And at the time we were living in New York, we weren't doing anything illegal, but my parents would have never thought. At the time we were living in Brooklyn and we were living in these apartments and we liked going on the roof. And this day, me and my brothers and some of their friends and stuff went there on the rooftop and we were throwing things at people. It was Halloween, and normally on Halloween you throw eggs and all of that. And we weren't trying to hit anybody, but we were trying to just throw just enough, like right in front of them to scare them, or just an inch from their heels to get them skipping down the road or something. And we were just doing that and throwing an egg, and we ran out of eggs. We weren't even thinking. We started throwing potatoes and onions and anything we can find, bread, loaves. And before you know it, we looked in the refrigerator and it was empty. Our parents will never believe that the next day when they went out there and all that mess that they were seeing, that it would be their children that did that. And I don't remember all the details, but I imagine we would have been standing there trying to look just as shocked as they were as far as what this mess is that's on the streets. But we did it. And so there's a side that siblings know and they see, whether it is who you think is the golden child, whether it's a child that you may think is the rotten child. Your children may have a different view of that sibling, because that sibling normally is going to show a different side of themselves. Maybe talk to them a little bit more. Talk to the sibling. The sibling's going to have a better understanding of that, what you're going to call the troublemaker. The flip side is also, if there is a child that's always giving trouble, they're going to lash out, but they lash out in a way where sometimes a parent will see it, other times they don't. This is those situations where I say, as soon as mom and dad leaves and this person is in charge, if they're the eldest, they can practice what I call displacement. And displacement is when they're taking their frustrations out on the younger siblings, and the siblings are so terrified they never tell. And the parents have no idea, because once the sibling let their horns out and they terrorize their younger siblings, they threaten them, and then they go back to try, they put on this different face where mom and dad comes in and they think everything is fine when it is not. And they find out about things way later. Find out about things through when they become adults, or when the child finally writes a book, or when the child doesn't want to have anything to do with the siblings, no one can understand why, and they finally tell them, this is what happened. So the whole point of this video is, parents, to know that whether your children are still living at home or they've moved on, you only know one side of your children, and you're going to know the side that they want you to know about. And there may be some sides that you discover through things that you may find, or things that you learn about from their teachers, and maybe things that when you have some behavioral issues with them, you may find out some things. But most times the siblings, they're going to know the root cause of a lot of things. And it's not so much that they even are looking for or trying to solve the situation. It's just that they're around them. And a lot of times they don't even know that they're looking at the root cause, because they're siblings too. But listen to your children. Pay attention to them. You still, as parents, still have to use your wisdom. You don't want to just, someone says this and this is what it is. You still need to observe and pay attention. But a lot of times as parents, you're busy doing this and that, and you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're working, you're sleeping, you're rushing, you have to do discipline, you're going to the school boards, and on top of it, you have to be paying for school pictures, class pictures. I am so salty about these class pictures, okay? But you know what I'm talking about. We get very, very busy. You can be busy, but you're missing these things. And I'm not blaming anybody. All I'm saying is, when you need to listen to your children, and just understand that your sons, daughters, whatever child you have, whichever you have, they know their sibling better than you do. They know a side of that child that you do not know. You may assume and think you know and think you already understand who your child is and what they will or they won't do, but that's not necessarily the truth. Your child knows that. And if you don't, you only have one child that you're praising all the time, they know the other side to themselves. Doesn't mean that they're always doing something wrong, but that child within themselves knows their fears, their concerns, their insecurities, and they know the way that they view themselves. But for the sake of this video, we're talking about the siblings that's able to pinpoint and tell you, hey, mom, dad, this is what's going on with so and so. And when you want to blow it off, think twice before you do that. Doesn't mean you need to act immediately, because sometimes siblings can just be in their feelings or doing what they're doing, but pay attention and not just assume that the face that your children are presenting to you is truly who they are at the core, and understand that your child will know and see a deeper side to their sibling than you will ever know. And then you'll wonder why they're not close. Sometimes they're super close, and that's wonderful, and other times they're not. Sometimes it can be jealousy, just differences in personalities and interests, but other times, sometimes it's because there is a flip side to that sibling that one may see, and they're like, nope, I'm staying away from them. And you're going, what's your problem? Look at sweet little Lammy. Or what's your problem? That's your older brother or sister. You need to listen to them. You need to mind them. You need to this, you need to that. And you're not realizing that the flip side, this child is seeing something or experiencing something with that sibling that you have no idea what it is. You would never believe it. You will never believe that child is doing that. You'll never believe the child behaves this way. You wouldn't, because of the image that they present to you. So as parents, definitely have to be discerning, pay attention, listen to your children, and understand that they know each other better than you know them. All right, guys, peace.